Rotation. Lie with your head on a cushion. Make sure there's plenty of cushion behind you for when your head rolls back. Your arms are forward in an arrow and you're in neutral spine. So you've got the natural curve in the lower back, but the ribs are not thrusting forward. They're staying contained. Slide your top arm forward till you feel a stretch across the shoulder blades. Then reach the hand up to the ceiling. When it's pointing up to the ceiling, let the arm bone drop down into the socket, and then you're going to keep it like that. Keep the ribs contained as you rotate the spine. Make sure you're not trying to get your arm to the floor by dropping it out of the shoulder sockets. You should feel some effort behind in your shoulder blade to hold the arm in place. Check what's happened with your ribs. Have they thrust up and you've arched to get further back? Don't let your back come into an arch. You've rotated around a neutral spine. Now reach the arm overhead, get a stretch around the back of the armpit, and circle back around to the beginning. Slide forward, reach up, look to your hand as you go, the arm drops into the socket, and then rotate the spine around, keeping the ribs contained and looking at your hand the whole time. If you don't turn your head, your spine won't turn as much. Then reach your fingers up and away, draw the biggest arc that you can to really stretch around the shoulder. Let's do 2 more on this side. Make sure you've got that shoulder in the socket when you're pointing the hand up to the ceiling, and then rotate the spine with the ribs contained to come back and open. Reach with your fingers, a nice big arc around. And one last one, slide out, point up to the ceiling, drop the shoulder down into the shoulder girdle, and then keep the knees together, but let them slide apart as you rotate the spine around. Reach up and around with your fingers, and all the way back to the beginning. We're going to swing around and do that on the other side. So make sure you've got plenty of cushion behind your head, your knees are bent forward, your top hand is on your bottom hand in an arrow, you're sliding forward, getting that stretch across the shoulder blades, then reaching up to the ceiling. Look to your hand, drop the shoulder down into the shoulder girdle, and then rotate the spine. Make sure that you're keeping your ribs contained and you're not dropping the arm out of the shoulder socket to get closer to the floor. Then reach up and around, watching your hand as it circles overhead, and you're reaching as far as you can to get a good stretch. Make sure you've come back to neutral spine. Many of us come back into a curve and a tuck, so make sure you've got your neutral spine. Slide the top arm forward, reach up to the ceiling. Look at your hand as it drops down into the shoulder girdle, and then rotate with contained ribs. And then circle the arm up and around to come back to the center. Check that you're in neutral spine, and we'll do 2 more. Let the shoulder drop down into the shoulder girdle, then watch your hand as you go. Rotating up and around, really stretch out around the back of your armpit. One last one, slide forward, reach up to the ceiling, shoulder drops down, and the spine rotates around. And reach up and around, and return back to the center.